Hey, Coach, we've got a special guest with us tonight. One of my favorite dudes in the whole world, Jamie Bolton. Jamie is the head football coach at Cannon School in Concord, North Carolina. Jamie, we coached together about a long time ago, about 8 years ago. I know he only looks like he's 12, but it was about 10 years ago we coached together. Jamie is a quarterback guru. You may have seen some of his stuff on Facebook and Twitter, where they ran their quarterback academy when he was at York and while in his current job. He played for a state championship when he was at York, South Carolina, and he's going to teach us the stick route tonight, the way that they do it, and that's their best play right now. And Jamie, it's good to see you, man, and kind of give the coaches kind of an introduction how you got to the system you're in and some of your background.
Yeah, so like you talked about back in 2010, we were at Red Springs together, and you taught me the air raid and fell in love with the system, how to teach receivers, how to teach the quarterback, how to teach space on the field, and using that system as I kind of went through my career, ended up at York. We were using the same system in 14, and played for a state title and came up short. But that system teaches you how to teach the details, and I remember you always kind of talking about the details is the biggest thing, and getting 10,000 perfect reps. And I still use that language with our kids today. And the system that we use now is much more aligned to probably Gus Malzahn's system. Brent Dearman at Kansas runs the system. He actually came to our place at York in 2017, taught us how to package that system more out of 11 personnel or 20 personnel. Some people call it, just depending on if they have a tight end or more of a fullback. But so using that 20 personnel or 11 personnel package run game, which is very versatile. We run power and counter and buck sweep. We run outside zone, inside zone. So we kind of have a decent amount of runs to accommodate our skill set, especially up front. So we have small linemen this year, so we're trying to get those guys on the edge and utilize their speed. At York, we had bigger guys. We could really run power and inside zone pretty well. But now what we've done is we've kind of taken that run game and then kind of married that with the air raid principles in our passing game. So we run everything from sail to cross to stick. We don't run any shallow, but we might want to get to that. We just have so much in our run game that's hard for us to practice all those things. But that's kind of where I'm at in my career, and just kind of using that to package everything together. And we can run really any of our concepts like a lot of people do with a lot of different personnel grouping. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And then today, just going to talk a little bit about the stick play, which we've kind of gotten back to. I haven't run in a few years, and at York we got pretty good at it, but that's kind of been our best play so far this year.
Tell them you got an interesting situation with the name of your team. Tell them your name of your team, and then teach us that stick route, man.
Yeah, so I currently work. I teach for Cannon School in Concord, K through 12. Last year, before I got there, they merged with another school, kind of the rival school in Concord Academy. And so now we've combined two schools to make the Cabarrus Warriors for numbers reasons. Now our numbers are a lot better this year. And so that's kind of where we're at. And I think it's going to be a 2 or 3 year deal. So we'll see how it plays out with all that. But yeah, so we'll get into the stick concept that we like to run, and kind of why we run it this way. It's similar to what obviously you taught me, and from the air raid perspective, but just from a scheme standpoint, and then just kind of the little details we'll get into. So let me see if I can share my screen. All right, so all this jargon up here, but really we're gonna want to run 4 strong stick is what we call it. So it's really like we're going trips heavy or trips with the T to the trip side, and the reason we want to do that is because if you kind of, especially in 2 high, we're really trying to see who's going to push to the 4th receiver to that side of the field, and you can see on film when we see that a lot of teams, sometimes they get it right, sometimes they don't, but it's really, really hard when we run this OTB or this spot route by the 3rd receiver for this Mike to push to the T. And it just kind of opens that stick out, that stick concept up for us pretty well. So this is actually this year. We got a bunch of freshmen. So we have two freshman receivers over here, freshman running back, freshman quarterback. starting this year, and so they're kind of getting used to how to run routes. They ran a very a more simpler system last year. But all these guys played JV football last year, so teaching them the routes, teaching them kind of the spacing and kind of where to find the grass, so to speak. And that's a big air raid term. So some of the routes may not be perfect, but I'll kind of talk to you guys of how I'll teach these guys. So here we have stick. Now we have a tight end trip set here. We run a lot of our run plays out of this set, so it helps us to be able to run stick out of that. And so you can see here, if you're running 4 strong stick, the H, the third receiver, is going to push all the way over the ball, and that's going to hold the mic and probably the next guy too. And then what we tell the Y here is to run to the inside hip of the skiff player. The skiff is a term we use for seam curl flat player. Some guys call him an outside linebacker or hole player. We call him a skiff. So he's in charge of kind of being the seam curl flat player. So we say run to the inside hip of the skiff, and the back is out on more of like a swing route. So you can see here how the H is holding these guys. It opens up a big window, and it's making it really easy for the quarterback to make a pretty good read there. This play in particular, this number 5 linebacker does a pretty good job of kind of holding and then slow playing, and then we just go second window on the stick and pop it in there for a pretty decent play. I don't like the fact that he didn't tight turn and get straight up field like we work on perfect drill. He should be straight up field. We talk to him all the time, but kid makes a pretty good play. Not bad for a couple freshman quarterback, freshman receiver, kind of working these little windows here in space. So we talk a little bit about that, but that's more intuitive. So here's another clip. Not a great clip here. All right, so now we're going to be running it out of a trips nub look. So what we've done is we've put the tight end on the other side. They're still in too high. We have an extra gap in the box if you don't count the corner, but it's another way that we run it. So third receiver still running his spot. Number 2 is going to have this weird little look here, and then we're going to get the back out. And so you can see here, we get some pressure, and our spacing is bad on this clip. I just picked random clips. I didn't go for highlights. So really, this guy should went outside, restack, and stick there, and then this guy should kind of press there to get the spacing better. I think this one may be a little bit better here. So same deal. So we have our nub trips nub set. Number 3 is over the ball. Their spacing isn't going to be great here, but we still get a pretty decent completion. So now you can see where the same team that we ran on before is now trying to push. We try to throw it in that little window. We have 2 guys open, in my opinion, here on stick. The spacing isn't great, but you can see we're going to get 2 guys out there. So it's tough on the defense when you have 4 receivers to that side and they don't have enough to push.
Jamie, talk about the progression for the quarterback there, because you threw it to your what are you calling that inside guy that sits over the center? What do you call that route?
That's what we call an OTB, or over the ball route. So he is looking really. We kind of use a progression platform of like a rhythm, a read, and a rush type of concept. So he is really rhythming. By the time he gets to the top of drop, he's making his mind up. Is he going to throw the spot or the OTB? Then he's going to read the stick, and then he's going to rush the flat. So we don't read the MOR here at all in stick, but we do have a 3 read progression. So right now, the reason we want to do this is if we get any kind of pressure here, this guy's usually going to come open. Our spacing isn't great, so the quarterback is getting pressure, kind of buy some time, and this is really like more of a scramble drill here, and he just gets it over the ball, but not the cleanest of looks. I'll get to a couple cleaner looks here in a second. Right here, you can see it again. So we continue to run it against this team. They're starting to do a little bit better job of pushing to 4. One is still tight, so we're still doing a pretty good job sticking on his inside hip. So I think we can still throw open shoulder and split these guys. Quarterback chooses to throw it to the OTB, which is, in my opinion, not the right read. And we still should have a completion there, but we almost get a pick. When they start pushing to 4, here's what we tell the quarterback. So anytime they're going to bring pressure, he's going to look to this guy right now. This guy should be pushing to 3 or 4. The problem is nobody has the backside B gap escape. So we work this all the time in practice where if they're going to do a really good job of pushing all these guys over, nobody's got the backside B gap. Quarterback does a good job on his B gap escape. nobody can be responsible for the quarterback there, and he's not very fast. So if it's not there, I tell him all the time, we're going to release into our favorite or whatever the whatever escape that we want. So he's going to look through it. Nobody's open. They do a really good job of pushing all the way to the back, pushing here, pushing there. They do a good job on defense, except nobody has the backside B gap. So that's a good job on our quarterback making a play and really a positive. I think it was a pretty good play for us there. Now here we are at York running it. We're a little bit more clean here. This is later in the season. It's against Fort Mill. Again, we knew that anytime they're going to be too high, this guy, the will linebacker, is going to be the guy that has to push all the way to number 4. And that's just not going to happen. So from a scheme standpoint and how they were trying to do it. So I think if I need to move this, let me see. All right. So you can see here, and we got a pretty special running back too, which helps, but you can see he's going through his progression. Our spacing is much better here. Obviously these guys are upperclassmen. They're running their routes to the proper landmark. We talk about 3 big, 2 little, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then we're sitting down. If this guy were to bust to the flats, obviously he'd be open. But we do a pretty good job there in our spacing, a lot better. Nobody's pushing the 4, and we get a wide open running back one-on-one with the guy, and it's an explosive pass play for us. So that's a much cleaner look. Obviously those guys are a little bit more seasoned than the guys that we're playing with, but we do a good job. Quarterback sits, reads it, bang. So he's going rhythm, read, rush on that. Rhythm, the OTB, read the stick, rush the back. If it's not there, we B gap escape backside.
I love it, man. We've never done that. We run stick out of the trips, but we never put the back
right.
to the
Let me turn this on you all. So it was so good we wanted to run it again. This time they blitz, they bring heat, but the quarterback just doesn't say, okay, we're bringing heat right here. He understands that this guy is still responsible for number 3, and then this guy, the will linebacker, is still responsible for number 4. And there's nobody pushing the 4. You have 3 defenders on 3, and nobody can push the 4. And so another wide open, and this guy's, he can get his foot in the ground and get north, so that helps too. But still, it's going to be a positive play, even if you don't have the greatest of athlete at running back. And then obviously our receivers know this play so well that they start blocking after the running back catches the ball, and we get a pretty good play. So it looks kind of like a screen, but it's just 4 strong stick or 3 strong stick. I'm thinking here it is at a 2x2. We do the same thing at a 2x2. It's against South Point and Rock Hill. They do a really good job. They're very well coached, especially on defense. And we're still with our big 260-pound tight end guy. We're going to run him in the same landmark. And this is the big key here is run to his inside hip. That way, if the mic pushes, we can still throw him open shoulder and perfect drill. A lot of people call it noose drill, and then get straight up field. So it's another little good set out of this. He does a really good job of banging him open shoulder away from 23. Bang. Get straight up field. Pretty good play. I think the first play from scrimmage for that game in 2018. Here it is against OW. We knew that they like to blitz peel this guy a lot. And this guy's outside leverage. So we were thinking this thing was going to come open. It ended up not. And again, we're still pushing with the tight end here, the H back now. So not even a tight end. We're still going to push all the way here. That's going to hold some of these guys from getting to the flats. And that's kind of a big thing for us. So even that H back just kind of going out there, kind of looks like he's blocking him. And then he's going to hold the mic and that defensive end from blitz peeling or whatever we want to call that technique. And it gets that flat open for us. And we just kind of like doing it. It's been good for us for a few years now. So that's it on stick. Anything else that I missed that I need to cover in terms of a detail? Backside, we run usually what we call a 5-step glance. We haven't hit it. We always usually go to the play side on that. One thing we did do against Raven Gap this past week, let me see if I can bring that up, is we added a burst motion to it. So let me see if I can pull that up for us. if I can clear all this stuff out. Sorry, Coach. I know I may want to edit this all out. I thought I had those
No,
clips
you're
pulled
fine.
up.
I want to see it. So you're talking like a push motion?
Yeah, we're going to bring them from the other side. I don't know if I have something clicked or not. Let me refresh. I know we've done the burst motion with snag, or what people call, I think you call it 8 Y corner.
Right.
We do the same thing there, because what Raven Gap was doing is they would buzz hard to the flats, but if you didn't have a flat threat, he was going to slow play it, which makes it hard on the read for the quarterback. And by that point, we're getting sacked on stick, and that wasn't going to be good. So let's see if I can bring that up. Never mind. But anyway, it's a lot of times. So anyway, if you want to get that guy out quicker, if they're slow playing, if that skiff player is slow playing, we'll burst motion from opposite. So the back, if we got trips to the right, the back will be on the left. He just burst motions to the flat immediately. It just speeds the read up for us if they have a skiff player that's slow playing it.
How far do you let him get out there?
I think we just say, man, you send him when he gets to the tackle, snap the ball,
Okay.
and that's just kind of how I haven't really told him. So it's different for different running backs. So if there's a slow guy, we have a big 205-pound back, so he needs to get out there. It takes a little longer for him to get out there. And then we have a kind of a faster guy, so I just kind of let them kind of play with it a little bit. Quarterback does a pretty good job of that.
Go ahead and stop share your screen. Man, I love that thing. I've never seen that before. We ran stick out of trips, but we never put the back over there. And I like your burst idea too, or just push motion with them too, just to clean it up.
Yeah, and what Raven Gap was doing is they were taking I guess their overhang or skiff player. He was playing inside number 2, and he would slow play, and then would go to the flat. So he'd play the seam. That buys time for the Mike to push over. So they're well coached. So I was like, well, let's burst motion him, and that guy was flying out there, and so it opened the stick up a couple times for us. It also opened snag up sometimes a little bit for us too. Just they're playing cover for us. We're just trying to attack the flats in a lot of ways. The
How
only
much?
thing
Go ahead.
The only thing we don't run traditional stick out of 3x1 where number 3's in the flat. We haven't done that. I like it. We just don't have it in right now.
Well, my question is how much investment do you have in this one? Because that's a tremendous play.
It's probably our least amount of investment. Once you have it in, it's pretty simple read. We kind of invest in more intermediate game stuff, which is obviously harder to complete. But the stick has been the least amount of investment. We get it done in perfect drill. Throwing that thing, the biggest thing that we do is we want to try to, if a team is going to play too high, I think I like to run it a lot. The only way that, you got to look out for from a defensive perspective, the only way you can take away 3 strong, which I'm saying is trips with the tight end or with the running back, is to rotate your coverage strong. And now you can push to 4 a lot easier because now you have the Sam, the strong safety, and the Mike to be able to push to all 3. And that's when you just work your backside one-on-one route. So that's why we have the glance built in. So I tell the quarterback, hey, anytime we get too high, we're going to work the stick side. If they ever run 3 strong to that, let's work that backside glance, or we can tag it, hey, stick, X, whatever, and whatever that leverage is.
So talk us through it. So you're going to put in stick out of 2x2, and then when you go trips, you're going to run it this way because it's on virtually no teaching then, is it?
There's no change in the way that we run stick formationally. So if we have a 2x2 set, whether that's a tight end or a traditional, slot receiver, he's still going to run an OTB.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to run it, and that's still going to be the rhythm. So in case they bring pressure, I like to, anytime they bring the pressure bang, we can bang him in there. So that's the rhythm, and then we're going to read the stick and then rush the flat. And so it makes it simple for us. So it doesn't change if we're in trips or if we're in, tight end trips or whatever. So, and we haven't seen any 1 high this year. So we got small linemen. So people are trying to stop us a 6 in the box. So, and they're doing a fair job, but we have to be able to throw it, too high. And a lot of times the flats are the best thing. I think that's why sticks are our best play. So.
Well, I'm stealing it, man. That was fantastic.
I knew that stick. Oh, everybody's heard stick, and we did this in 18. I was like, I haven't seen anybody else do this yet, and so now
I
the
have
see.
never seen that before.
We also do it out of snag, so like we'll run Y corner like that because he can't push to the snag.
All right. Don't talk about that yet. We'll have to have you on again for that one.
Sorry, man. Too much content coming out.
I mean, I'm stealing it. That was fantastic. I have never seen anyone do it that way.
But the detail is you get the third receiver to hold the pushers.
Mhm. Yeah,
So that's the secret.
yeah. I love it. I love it.
Awesome, man.
Man, I appreciate you doing this.
Absolutely.
I have to have you back after your season's over so you can show us some snags.
Sounds great, man. Don't put this out to we got Metrolina this week, so they know we run it. So
Well, it won't be this will be probably next Tuesday.
Oh, perfect, man. Perfect. All right. Well, sounds good, Coach. I really appreciate having you on. It's great seeing you again, man.
I appreciate you doing this, man. Great job.
See you.